Actually, let me get out of this Facebook so that I do not have to deal with any of these little blips. But yeah, this will be random solo Q cast number 5. Today, my good friend Lutano is online, so we will be spectating him. This is a Diamond 1 game. Not entirely sure if everyone in the game is Diamond 1, because I imagine at higher elos, there's a little more variance between queues because you need to find more people to fill the gap. Anyways, so we see on the blue team there is Azir, Ezreal, Olaf, Gragas, and Soraka versus the Thresh, Sivir, Victor, Tryndamere, and Diana. These compositions are fairly standard, but there are a couple important factors that we should keep track of. First and foremost, being the Tryndamere pick is not seen at all in competitive meta because it is very much a solo queue champion, and you really just want to be split pushing pretty much most of the game with that. So even if Tryndamere falls behind in lane, oftentimes if he gets farmed up enough and you can keep your CS up, you can still be a very effective split pusher throughout the game in a solo queue setting, where it is much more difficult to coordinate resources to be able to lock down somebody like a Tryndamere when they're split pushing. Also, important thing to note is also in the top lane, but Olaf is running Ignite instead of Teleport. I did just mention that even if Tryndamere falls behind, he can still oftentimes end up split pushing anyways to great effect. However, if Olaf is able to secure a very strong lead early in the game using that Ignite, it will keep Tryndamere down for a long time during the game, and just being able to prevent Tryndamere from being able to 1v1 him for as long as possible might allow the rest of the blue team to be able to get far enough ahead to a point in which they can win the game. And the Ignite is particularly strong against Tryndamere. Both Ignite and Exhaust are good, but Tryndamere before level 6 relies very largely on his heal to be able to sustain through the trades, and Ignite obviously prevents that. So we'll see if Olaf can shove in this advantage in the top lane, or if Tryndamere will be able to get away scot-free and use that teleport pressure around the map. Also, Ezreal Soraka lane in the bottom, I'm not a huge fan of that combination, just because most Ezreals these days, if they're going attack damage, will start with the Trinity Force, and so that they can be able to get an early advantage, an early power spike, and advantage in the lane, as well as rotate that toward Dragon and or mid lane sieges. And being able to get that early game isn't the best with Soraka, because Soraka caters much more toward a very passive style of AD carry, such as a hyper carry like Jinx or Vayne. And you can really abuse Soraka's ability to just survive through the laning phase with one of those champions. But I have seen strategies where if you get in a strong early AD carry that can essentially 1v2, if Soraka just stands in the back and continues to heal him and pretty much make him invulnerable in the fights, it is possible for Israel to come away ahead in that regard. In the mid lane, there's Azir versus Victor, very standard picks. Victor does have that burst of level 6 all-inning, but Azir can try to just stay alive and see if he can poke with his long-range autos. But anyways, looks like both junglers are going to be starting at their camps, not going to be giving it away to their bottom lane, which is something you can sometimes see on professional players' streams in their solo queue games. Just being able to get that 75 gold on your AD carry in exchange for a health potion on your support is a lot of times worth it, but looks like Lutano will just be picking that up at his Krugs, and Kairos Lal will be picking up his Gromp. I think it's usually just the Krugs, but I'm pretty sure Gromp, you can do it with Gromp as well. And in the bottom lane, they're going to be trying to rush for that level 2. Thresh does go out for a hook, but he's still level 1, and it misses, so not really much happening down there. You can see Olaf's Reckless Swing actually doing a lot of true damage to Tryndamere. He's just going to be trying to sit in that lane and survive, like I said, until level 6. A very fitting summoner name for him, that is Tryndamere, with little lines around to give it a little border there. And Mr. Foley actually going to be shoving in a little aggressively toward Victor, even though Victor has a lot more early game burst, I believe. I'm not an expert in mid lane matchups, but actually an early roam from Thresh. He's going to be seeing if he can get over here. Mr. Foley trying to use that shifting stance to get out of range of the CC from Thresh, but it's not enough. He walks just all the way through and gets that flay and hook onto him. First blood coming out, and that is how you can snowball the game as a support. Playing against a Soraka lane can be really frustrating because she's just so good at nullifying any sort of aggression, but that's exactly pretty much how you want to respond in a textbook manner. If you can't bully the Soraka lane, Soraka's not going to be able to bully your AD carry, so you can just roam in and get kills like that. And especially since Victor is playing fairly aggressive, that was a perfect opportunity, and he capitalized very effectively. And Thresh actually going in, continuing to stay. The aggressive arcane shift from Ezreal, and Sivir actually uses her spell shield, but it does not really block anything, and now she's exhausted. I don't know if she can win this fight, but she does pop her heal. They're getting so low. Is Sivir gonna go down? Ezreal flashes forward, but no, Sivir gets that kill. So she goes up in the lane. Thresh already also got that first blood gold. So, wow. Huge advantage coming out from this bottom lane. Very well played by both of these lanes, really. And trying to abuse that vision. You could see that blue team did not have vision of that bush, so when Ezreal flashed in there, Sivir was able to get priority on that last auto attack, which gave her the first blood. Or not the first blood, but the kill in the trade. Unfortunately for the blue team, it looks like in the top lane, Tryndamere actually has an advantage so far. I'm not entirely sure how that's happened because there's been so much action around the map everywhere else. But it will appear that he's down 10 CS. He has double cloth armor, maybe just trying to rush that Warden's Mail, get into a Randuin's Omen to be able to survive. And if he doesn't get an advantage early, I'm not really sure if he'll be able to survive after 6, because you really need to use that ignite and make sure that you just don't get out map pressure. Lutano's actually coming in. Mr. Foley's kind of low, but Lutano will just be throwing out that little barrel roll there, trying to poke him a little bit. And actually now Thresh is in the mid lane again. Lutano goes in, misses the body slam, and now he gets stunned under the gravity. Well, that means a free death sentence for Thresh, and Lutano's in a lot of trouble. Sivir's here. That will be another kill. Or, sorry, not Sivir there, but Diana. That'll be another kill for Victor, though. Now 3-0 at 6 minutes in the game. A little bit of an ill-advised decision from Lutano to stay around that bush. Once he saw Thresh, he maybe should have just gone back over the wall toward his middle turret. And with that ability, with the knowledge that Lutano's dead, Diana actually goes in, takes the Raptors, and gets an early deep ward. So we'll see if they can keep tracking Lutano's jungle patterns and try to snowball that jungle lead even further. Meanwhile, Ezreal's actually caught out here. I don't think they see him, but now they do, and the early arcane shift means that, ooh, actually that lantern goes pretty far back, and the hook lands onto Soraka, not Ezreal, but now Lutano's here. This is actually really great for blue team because they have the concave surround, and Soraka can just heal them up to full. If the arcane shift is about to come back up, they might be able to kill Soraka, and here comes Victor. There's a lot of AoE potential damage that he could deal out, and Lutano has to flash away. Oh, there's a great death sentence. Victor hits level 6. Oh my god, this is terrible for blue team. Just that really quick roam from Victor, turning that around completely, even though Soraka gets the binding on her silence. That does mean another kill for the red side, and very unfortunate for Gragas and friends that Victor was able to, well, they just weren't really keeping tabs on Victor. And now Tryndamere's level 6, so he's actually just going to go all in onto Olaf. Olaf pops his ultimate, which, actually, when you pop the Ragnarok, you lose the armor and magic resist bonus. So I think against Tryndamere, you really want to just hold on to that so you can trade even more effectively, but that does mean that the ultimate from Olaf is down, and he's getting low, so rather than risking a dive under turret, he's actually just going to go back here. And he doesn't have teleport. He hasn't even used Ignite this whole game, I don't think. This is looking very ominous in the top lane. Tryndamere is up 15 CS. Instead of shoving into the turret even more, maybe try to get an early turret, he will just go back and get that Bilgewater Cutlass. And actually, Ezreal just getting some free auto damage onto Sivir. Soraka walks up into the Boomerang Blade. That's a free kill if I ever saw one. And Sivir saw it too, apparently. So that just means Sivir's 3-0. If you're Ezreal right now, he's been playing this fairly decently. He got caught out a little bit over here, if we remember, but they even turned that around into fairly decent trade until Victor came. So Ezreal's just kind of getting the short end of the stick here. His late opponents are getting such a huge advantage just because they've been playing it so well. But we'll see if he can manage to use Ezreal's long range of the Mystic Shot to stay equal in CS. And Thresh actually wasting a lot of time. They're not even going back. Are they going to try to cheese them? I don't know if he really can 100-0 burst Ezreal and Soraka, because now that Soraka is almost level 6, if she gets that wish, it's going to be much more difficult to kill her. And actually, she doesn't have it yet. The death sentence does miss. And the fact that they didn't go back there means that if Ezreal wants to try to go all in, he does have the ability to kill them off once he gets True Shot Barrage. That's something we'll have to keep a close eye on. Now, if we look at Diana versus the Gragas, you can see those two deaths means that the ganks he's trying to do also wastes a lot of his jungling time, and Diana has taken full advantage of that. She took the 4 extra CS from stealing the Raptors, and actually a True Shot Barrage does interrupt Sivir from going back, so that even delays them even longer. That means Ezreal will probably get a slight CS advantage in this lane. Meanwhile, Tryndamere versus Olaf, yeah, in the top. Olaf is actually pushing up. Diana's nearby. She just got the Scuttle Crab if she wanted to gank. I think that would be a pretty good lane to do so, because even though Olaf is immune to CC, you can just kind of run him down. Diana has double... Oh my gosh. Oh, surprise! Here comes the Undertow. Doesn't actually do that much, and there's a Reckless Swing. Olaf is just gonna have to try to run away here. I don't think he can really trade. Even if he wins in this, Tryndamere still has his undying range, and actually a lot of Undertows coming out. Tryndamere should have just stayed there and fought. Now he has to pop his ultimate and run away. That gives Olaf complete control over the lane. He'll be able to catch back up in CS, but Tryndamere does have teleport, so not the end of the world by any means. And Thresh again, Cosmic Death, playing such a proactive role in this game so far. He's been mid as often as he's been bot, it seems like. And Soraka will be there to heal up Lutano, but I don't know if Azir is strong enough to really help them out compared to Victor, because Victor does have more burst in the early game. Azir gonna be trying to poke a little bit with the Conquering Sands movement. Gets a little bit of poke, and actually here comes Lutano. Great Emperor's Revive throws him back into the turret. Where's the Explosive Cask? I don't even know if they need it. Lutano actually trying to slow him down, and he picks up that kill. Good gank and great initiation by Azir. Speaking of good initiations, Ezreal and Soraka trying to do something, but on the hunt allows Sivir to run away very easily. Now Thresh is kind of coming in saying, hey man, you're trying to kill my AD carry, I'll show you. I'll show you by missing the flay, saying, oh baby, I'm a level 5 master, just missed the flay and wasted my box. But it might not even matter. Diana's under the turret, and actually they flash to the other side, but that means Diana gets a nice lunar rush onto her target, and that'll be 1 kill. Is that the second kill? Oh, actually Ezreal flashes out of the Crescent Strike, and Ezreal does get away from that, so they do get 1 and the turret. Here comes Lutano seeing if he can do anything about that. And now Tryndamere can get some free damage. He does also have a full rage bar, so if he wants to use that to sustain, I think that might be worth it. Or he could just save that and use his Bilgewater lifesteal, which I guess is the correct decision, because now he's at full health and he still has his rage bar. So Who actually uses the slow, but Olaf has to pop his ultimate for that. Now they're going in just one-on-one. Oh my gosh, Olaf just destroys him. I don't think Trinimir is expecting that damage from that at all. Lutana going over the wall. Here comes Azir. He's almost close enough. Azir does have flash, so actually if he ran in there flash, he might have been able to lock Victor under the turret, but just as well because Thresh was there for a lantern. Azir will be happy just to sit there and try to wave clear. Lutano trying to make something happen, maybe get him back into the game a little bit, and he has caught up in CS compared to Diana, which is pretty nice, although Diana does have those 3 assists over his 1 kill. And you can see it is fairly even nonetheless. And in the total gold, there's actually 3,000 gold difference, which is pretty much from the bot lane alone. Victor is slightly more ahead of Azir also, just because he has had more kill participation. That early roam toward the bot side showed exactly that, and Thresh is just staying in this middle. They already do have the bot turret, so gonna allow Ezreal to push that up so Sivir can get some free farm for a while. Don't know if they can really make anything happen here, though. We'll see what they decide to do. Dragon is up, and Lutano keeps coming back to this mid lane. I don't think he's even touched top lane, or I don't think either jungler has really even gone toward top lane at all. So that just means Olaf and Trinimir are having the good old 1v1 of the century, and actually Olaf is taking a couple turret shots. Trinimir gonna be going all in with his Undying Rage, but here comes Olaf. Reckless Wind comes out. Where's the Undertow? He actually just flashes for the last hit. That's the first solo kill of the game. Actually, Olaf is 2-0, but meanwhile, Sivir's trying to go in onto Ezreal. Ezreal's trying to jump around to avoid her, and he just kills her outright. Thresh tries to use the box and Flay. Great job into the damage of those walls. Here comes Lutano, though, trying to get control around that dragon area. It's a 2v1. Diana cannot possibly hope to kill both of them, but maybe she can get one. A good Flay again into the Lunar Rest, but Soraka uses her ultimate wish to get that advantage. Now Lutano gets 1 kill, gets a double kill. Where is the mid lane? They're duking it out 1v1 themselves. Azir has to go back, but Gragas back in this game, already ahead of Diana. If you look at that, yeah, just underestimating the power of the Soraka heals. Getting a little greedy there. And it is worth to note that Diana did go Runeglaive instead of the Devour that you'll sometimes see nowadays. And a Devour is very strong on Diana because it essentially, I don't know why this camera is just in the middle. But I don't know why, or sorry, I do know why people go Devour. It's because that way your passive, the Moonlight Blade, procs on every 2 autos, which is a significant portion of your damage. And if you can stay in a fight, getting those autos off consistently, that just absolutely wrecks pretty much anyone. So Devour has seen a lot of popularity, but obviously there is that power dip once you first buy it before you get 30 stacks. And a lot of times you'll get the Runeglaive to avoid that, but if you're losing the 2v2 fights against Soraka Gragas, then Runeglaive really isn't worth it anyways. Ezreal gonna be trying to poke in. Maybe he can get a cheeky steal there. Ooh, so close, but Kairos Lol gets the dragon anyways. If there's ever Dragon Slayer Diana skin, oh my gosh, Chaos Storm coming out of Victor. If that can catch back up to Azir, that might be the killing blow, but no, Lutano actually burns Flash to try to engage. Ooh, gets the explosive cask onto Sivir. She does not spell shield anything, and actually Soraka holds her under the turret, but not quite enough. Now there's 3 people mid lane with Azir so low from that Victor aggression. They do get that middle tower in addition to that dragon, so very strong mid-game rotations. You can see that good grouping by the red team. They were all together to get that dragon, and then Victor, knowing that Azir might be hovering around to try to poke in, abuses that and punishes Azir for a more dangerous pathing in his possible rotation to that dragon area. And actually Ezreal flashes forward into the arcane shift and gets that kill. I'm not sure if he would have lived if he had decided to instead use arcane shift and flash down here. But regardless, they trade 1 for 1. But now Sivir is 4-1. Ezreal does have that Essence Reaver first item, which is an item you really don't at least I haven't seen very often. A lot of times you might want to go for that tier instead, which would build into the Mana Mune and Mira Mana, which gives you a little bit more on-hit damage, I believe, once you get full stacks, but I'm actually not sure how that calculates out. So, interesting build path. It does mean that he avoids the power, oh, great death sentence onto Thresh, from Thresh onto Lutano. The Soraka heals come out, but he has grievous wounds on him, so it'll be a little difficult. Meanwhile, Olaf just going in. He kills Diana. Didn't even need to exhaust. I think an auto would have sufficed. And Soraka, great positioning just on the back line, trying to heal. But now Tryndamere sees her. That maybe not so great positioning after all. But here's Mr. Foley and Lutano. They're just flanking Thresh, and now they're going on to Tryndamere. I don't think he's ulted yet. Yeah, so they do have to respect that Tryndamere damage. Meanwhile, Ezreal is coming through the middle of the jungle. Very, very bold of him. Sivir is so low. I don't think Ezreal can really play too aggressively here, otherwise risk dying to the endless berserking. Yeah, he will back off. They do get a lot of that pressure in the middle lane, and instead of continuing to shove, I think he just wants to go back, maybe get some of these jungle camps or the red buff. I do want to note, however, that red team does have very strong ward control around pretty much the entire river area. You can see they have a lot of these deep wards to, well, here and here, to see blue team if they try to make moves around the map. But now that they've lost their outer mid turret, they might need to start warding a little more defensively. You can see Diana just going back to farm up a little bit. In terms of gold leads, it's completely even if you look team to team, and actually Ezreal has caught himself back up against Sivir somehow. He's still 500 gold down, but the margin, the percentage of gold difference between them two has diminished significantly. And if you pretty much look across the board, yeah, Lutano's ahead of Diana, while Thresh is ahead of Soraka. So it's pretty much I can hear Zir cooing right there. I think he wants a little bit more feeding coming his way. Oh, it's feeding in SoloQ. But they, yeah, like I said, they will be putting out a little bit more defensive line of wards instead of that more aggressive warding that we saw earlier. And Lutano going to be hiding back here, knows that it's out of the vision. And actually, here comes Diana. They're preparing a great flank. He gets the body slam onto her. And actually, she almost gets stunned, but she used the Lunar Rust to get to the lantern and be able to escape effectively. Great presence of mind by Diana. Just doesn't even have to burn her flash. And good coordination by Thresh as well. Ezreal going to be using that two-shot barrage to clear out these minions. Does get 4 CS out of that, and the lane will start to push in their favor. Now that means they can safely continue to siege this middle. And they do have that wave in the top lane also pushing. So if they continue to keep this pressure up, they can even send somebody to the top lane or rotate as a group if they so choose to divert their attention. Dragon will be up in 1 minute. I do want to see a little more wards coming out on the blue team. And Tryndamere will be getting the red buff. We'll see if that actually plays a factor. Right now, Ezreal has the blue buff on the red team, and actually they poke out Victor. That might be huge if he can't really get back in time, because he is a significant portion of their team damage if a fight breaks out. So red team wants to just be really cautious right now. Don't get engaged on by the explosive cast, because that could prove to be disastrous without the Victor burst. We will be continuing to secure vision. That bush has been fought over a lot, and now Pertel is getting a little bit closer. You can see V-Man on Ezreal getting a few pot shots into the turn, but he gets a little too close. Diana goes in, and actually the Emperor's Divide comes out, but does not block out Thresh, trying to protect herself from Tryndamere. Tryndamere will have to pop his ultimate, but Olaf is still half health here. I don't know why he's backing up, but the True Shot Barrage comes out, finishes up Tryndamere, going through that choke point, but oh my gosh, Chaos Storm coming out from Victor. My Jesus. Oh, and Azir, great positioning in the back, being able to snipe off Diana. So basically what you saw there was everyone just kind of going in one at a time, and whoever's ultimate was on cooldown, who was just being used, got control of the fight. Originally it was Azir using the Emperor's Divide, being able to kind of single out Thresh and then Tryndamere a little bit. Good True Shot Barrage by Ezreal being able to pick that up. And then the Victor going in with his AoE getting control, but then Diana overextends a little bit. Not respecting the Azir damage, and speaking of not respecting Azir damage, this is what you get, buddy. Your little claws lying on the ground lifeless. Not that a metal claw really has much life to begin with, but I guess that's the whole point of the glorious revolution. Thresh hooking the dragon so that Lutano is starting to take some punishment, but honestly, man, that might be what he wants. Soraka's right there. He can just pretty much stay full health, and Ezreal actually uses his Arcane Shift to get in here. They will clear out that ward, but the rest of red team is pretty far away. I don't think Diana wants to go in this only with Thresh. So yeah, that'll be the first dragon going over to blue team. Good acknowledgement of the fact that nobody was really around that dragon pit. And Lutano just kind of bodying his way in there, getting that. So he did actually go the Cinderhulk into Spirit Visage. So a lot of times you'll see large health stacking right after the Cinderhulk to get maximum value out of it, but you can see that with the Diana jungle and Victor in the mid game, he really wants that magic resist, and it served him fairly well. He's been doing pretty well in these team fights. Sivir actually pops her ultimate there, not really sure where she's trying to go with that, but they do have to back off now. That does mean they lose one of their initiation tools. They do still have the Lunar Rush from Diana as always, but a lot of the flashes are down on red team, and that we've seen a lot of Victor flashing in for these. Actually, he throws on the gravity, but Lutano gets stunned, but Olaf cannot. Now Mr. Foley's kind of by himself, and they're trying to just deal with Tryndamere. Great explosive cast, completely saves the backline single-handedly. Now Sivir's getting pretty low, but the rest of blue team gonna try to poke him out. Meanwhile, Victor holding on to his ultimate. That means he can throw it out right now and maybe get the advantage in this fight. And there's blue team is certainly on the run. I don't know if anyone can finish him off. Oh man, Soraka with the great Civ HD juke. She actually comes out here, gonna be able to silence Victor crucially, so Olaf can get the kill onto Sivir. Now, oh man, missed laser from Victor. Although the lantern comes out, he'll be flying away to safety. Maybe he should install some wings on there so he can do that more often, in addition to that metal arm that he already has installed. But good kiting back from the blue team and just trusting each other to be able to go in, because a lot of that fight came down to little skirmishes, like when it was Victor versus the Olaf, and I'll get back to that in a second, because Lutano's still going in. He's really tanky. You can see that Spear Visage is so effective in this scenario. Diana gets Ezreal with the Crescent Strike, so she'll be going in as much as she can. She actually gets a double kill. What? Out of nowhere. And then Gragas is just like, okay guys, I guess I'll leave now. It was good fighting with you. That rabble rouser. Trying to bait his team into fights, but Ezreal probably should have stayed farther back there. Getting hit by the Crescent Strike so that Diana could reset her ultimate was pretty bad. And you can see it, they really paid the price. Those are actually her only 2 kills so far. But she does have the Zanya's Hourglass, so she can't dive in and be the initiator for her team and then just use that to stay safe. Tryndamere has picked up 2 of his items, going to be working toward that Infinity Edge next, because his passive helps him scale so well with critical strike damage. And now Sivir's going to be taking the red buff instead of Tryndamere. We saw Tryndamere get the last one, I believe, but that did not really amount to much in the team fights. And now blue team going to be trying to get vision control around Baron. They do miss this one that was just placed, but the Scuttle Crab going to be giving red team a little bit of peace of mind there. And Tryndamere going in sneakily, trying to just split push that top lane, knowing that Olaf does not have teleport. They're forced into a pretty difficult situation. I think they're all going to have to go back and respond to that, lose their pressure mid entirely to deal with this. I don't know if Olaf can really 1v1 him. He did start with the Spear Visage, and actually Gragas initiating a fight because he sees Thresh is completely caught out. Victor again holds onto his ultimate, doesn't want to blow it too early, and now Azir's going in really quickly and forces the flash out of Diana. But meanwhile, Tryndamere just taking turrets and taking names. I guess he's not taking any names yet because he hasn't killed anyone, but still a threat on that inhibitor turret. And True Shot Barrage will be going out there. I wonder if it'll hit Tryndamere. No, it just clears out the minion wave, so Olaf should be able to keep the waves at bay if he can. Or if Tryndamere stays around. Now he's actually following through with multiple undertows. Tryndamere not really wanting to fight that, even though he is starting to scale up a little bit. I wonder who would win if Tryndamere just turned around. From the fact that he is just running away, I guess Olaf has the upper hand still. But actually, Lutano's coming over the wall. Is he going to be able to slow down Tryndamere enough? Does he have Explosive Cask? Not yet. And that means that another clutch lantern from Thresh will be able to save the day yet again. Now, because of that pressure top lane, blue team was not able to continue that siege mid. They tried to go down to kill him. That would have been huge in terms of how they can work the map off that, but they will just try to rotate toward Baron, maybe set up some vision picks, and this sneaky little ward. Actually, oh man, the Explosive Cast goes out. We'll get to that ward later again. Cosmic Death gonna have to flash over. That's actually pretty significant because we've seen him make some pretty aggressive flash plays before. And is Ezreal gonna get it? No, he actually gets a death sentence. Doesn't get off his ultimate either. Sivir gets that kill. That gives Red team a lot of control in their jungle area. Tryndamere continuing to push that bottom side of the map. That's going to be the second inner turret to fall. Even if Olaf gets here, he'll be able to finish it off and run away. There it is. Dragon up in 2 seconds now. Just so much map pressure created by this Tryndamere. You can see Azir now also has to go to the top lane, which means that they cannot group for Dragon. Ezreal's dead as well, so there's going to be another free Dragon for Red team. Though this game has not been very Dragon focused at all. That's only the second one for them at 30 minutes. A lot of times you'll be seeing people get their third or maybe fourth Dragon if they do it really early. Like at 7 minutes, then they might be able to get their fourth one by now, but that's pretty rare and usually only in a game that's very one-sided. So again, Lutano and Diamond Cox going to be getting vision control of the Baron. They really don't want to allow Red team to sneak that away, and rightfully so. I mean, you have the Tryndamere, the Sivir ultimate also helps because it gives you that attack speed. Now they're going in completely aggressive. Sivir pops her coin, and I don't know if they can keep following through. Thresh does not have flash, but the Explosive Cast doesn't really knock him back. But Azir, great flank on the side. Now Lutano might be going down. Does he have flash still? Doesn't matter. He dies. Azir going in. Emperor's Divide gets a double kill, but Azania's clutch comes in, saves them from the triple kill. Now it's a 2 for 2 in this fight. Tryndamere flashes forward, gets an instant critical strike onto Soraka, and now he's trying to go onto Olaf. Olaf gonna be seeing if he can do anything toward Victor. Ezreal's the only healthy one left in this fight. He's kind of cautious about it, Victor, but I feel like he should be able to finish this off. Yes, gets a double kill. 4 for 4. Now it's Ezreal versus Diana. Very close fights overall, and if Diana had not had that Zhonya's or used it at the exact last second, that would have been an ace for the blue team. And I don't know if he would have been able to do anything with it because that fight did last fairly long, but still, you can just see how close these teams are. It's only a 3,000 gold difference. That's largely just due to, I believe, Sivir. She's 6-3 and 7 with a large CS lead. That's about 60 CS up. Well, now it's 70. As I say, it increases, but yeah, you can see 12,000 versus 10,000 at the bottom there. And also, Diana has the lead over Gragas again, so I guess she's just been able to farm up a little better, getting that as the game progresses, she's able to clear faster and faster. And Tryndamere been split pushing the side lane so much more. He does have a CS lead over Olaf, but we can see Olaf has been a pretty significant factor in these fights. Even without teleport, they haven't really been winning fights off of it. They have gotten turrets though, so at least that's been well played by Tryndamere. And Lutano gonna be trying to clear that pink ward, but little does he know they still have a green ward as well. Diana flanking from the side. Is she gonna go for it? No, Ezreal does not actually. Oh my gosh. 2 Mystic shots, and that takes out 60% of her health. That just goes to show you how strong his build has been. We were wondering how the S3 would go, but actually jumping into explosive cast from Lutano. Great job seeing that Victor was out of position and that he didn't have flash, so instantly picks him off. And looks like Diana's gonna be trying to get out of there. She picks up the lantern to be able to do so. Again, good lantern by Thresh, good response by Diana. That means they only get 1, but are they going to go for the Baron? They're pretty healthy. Soraka's the lowest one, but it's Soraka, so she can just stay in the back and then use her wish if she needs to. Lutana going to be going over, clearing that sneaky ward. That won't be hidden anymore. And now they will be rushing this down. They don't have a jungler nearby for the red team, but now Soraka's getting really low. She's here already. Here comes Tryndamere, but no, Olaf picks it up. Lutano actually does not smite it, or well, his smite did not last hit it, I guess, but no, he still has smite off cooldown, so he just didn't use it. Maybe it was just about to come off or something, but either way, blue team does get the Baron. That is going to be very important, because if Tryndamere and team had gotten the Baron, it would have been really difficult to deal with his split pushing, because Olaf has actually been able to deal with him really well, but when you have that on top of all the Baron minions, this team is built for skirmishes with Sivir, Victor's AoE and catch potential. Victor's pretty much just good in any kind of fighting scenario, but also Diana being able to lock down squishy targets. They kind of want to be split up, especially again with the Azir, who does so much good AoE damage. Being able to get Tryndamere and Diana in side lanes, they might have been able to do some sort of 1-3-1, but that will not be the case, because Lutano going to be in the front lines here, smacking these minions with his belly, saying, I want a drink, how about you? And he actually goes forward toward Tryndamere. I don't know if they really want to engage off this, just getting a lot of harass down. And you can see that is a lot of harass. Getting him down below half health. He does not have any defensive items, but that's really the purpose of Tryndamere. And he actually forewent, I don't want to say foregoed, but I guess he forewent the build into the Infinity Edge in favor of a Last Whisper, so he can better deal with that Olaf. And I've got to say, I don't think it's really worked out that much, because he hasn't had as much of an impact in the team fights as he wanted to, I think, and he hasn't really been able to solo Olaf yet. So now Ezreal just getting a lot of free damage onto these turrets. Death Sentence misses from Thresh. That's going to be important. Now that's on cooldown. Now you can see Ezreal's walking up again for free. Now they're just going to take this turret and they're going to try to move up into the inhibitor area. Thresh lands a hook onto Lutano, but he's not really who you want to get. He is the main tank of this team, along with the Olaf. And now Olaf taking a little bit of that turret, but that doesn't really hurt him. He's a Viking, man. Tickle turrets do not hurt Vikings, because everyone knows Vikings cannot be tickled. Anyways, they're kind of just bodying their way into this. Actually, Explosive Cast comes out again onto Victor, but he does have Flash this time. That means he can get out. But they get the turret, and now they're just going to peel back up, allow Azir to use his long range to try to poke, and Tryndamere flashes in. He's going to be focusing Soraka. Huge Chaos Storm coming out from Victor, and Diana has to pop her Zonias, which means she'll be able to clean this up afterwards. Ezreal's caught in a bad spot. They split up once Tryndamere flashed in, and that's not what you want to do against this team with the Victor. Oh my gosh. So, well, I guess you do want to split up against the Victor, but they're split into 2 separate clumps. You have the Ezreal and the Soraka, and then the rest of the team all together. So Diana is able to go in, use the Zonias to, just become immune. Victor just unleashes everything onto the enemy team. That's an ace right there. Diana actually even going to be picking up the dragon for them, so that's going to be dragon number 3. Give him extra movement speed, which is vital in being able to being able to continue these fights and chases into the blue team. And part of that fight, part of the reason why red team lost that fight, red team won that fight, was that Lutano had to build the explosive cast to engage, or rather, maybe not he had to, but he blew the explosive cast to engage, but then Victor just flashed away. And that is pretty much the only strong initiation tool from the blue team. You don't really want Azir going in there for the Emperor's Divide, especially since he hasn't built the Zanyas yet, so that is really the only form of control they have apart from the Emperor's Divide, which is a very kind of binary tool that they use in team fights just to be able to shove everything back. But having the explosive cast to single somebody out would be crucial, and we'll see if Gragas uses the fact that Victor's Flash is now on cooldown for the next 2.5 minutes to capitalize on another team fight. However, all that being said, blue team did get the inhibitor turret. So, if nothing else, they at least have some form of entrance into red team's base. I don't know if they even want to go that deep in there yet, but oh man. The complete lack of ward coverage means Diana and friends just walk up. Ezreal's gonna be dead. That's gonna be terrible for the blue team. That's almost all their poke, most of their consistent damage, and now Tryndamere is even going on to Lutano. The explosive cast goes the wrong direction because he probably wanted to get Tryndamere out of there. Now Gragas has to burn his flash, and the flash on Gragas is pretty important to be able to initiate on new targets. So Tryndamere even gets the top turret, and Thresh flashing for that hook does not land the hook, but burns the flash of his opponent. So that means that he can get the turret after that. Azir actually knocks Diana back and kills her up really quickly, but the rest of red team is still here while blue team's still dead. Ezreal's not even up for another 10 seconds. A free inhibitor for blue team. And just, you can see how important it is to keep vision up at all stages of the game, because red team is just running rampant without their Ezreal to stave off some of this aggression. Here comes a true shot barrage, but it might be too little too late. Tryndamere are going to have to back off a little bit. I think they'll get this second inhibitor though. And Lutana actually gets stunned in the gravity field. Olaf gets burst down by Victor. Sivers here, she's still at full health. Great peeling coming from the Thresh, and just the zoning ability that Thresh, Victor, and Sivir have had allows them to kind of stay alive throughout these whole team fights. That's going to be the game. Well played by red team, and really just a critical positioning error from Ezreal. And positioning not even in the sense of team fight positioning, because he's been usually decent with that. Actually, he's going to try to kill Sivir. Is it going to be enough? Yes! Oh my gosh! That's not the game. I lied. Nexus is still alive. The dream is alive. My god. I think red team just wants to relax a little bit, take the Baron off of these 3 inhibitors. They can start building toward that 5 dragon win condition as well. This is going to be a huge pit for blue team to come out of. Yes, they have the bottom inhibitor turret, but no, do they really have a good shot at being able to regain control of the game. Right now, what we need to see is more wards from the blue team now that they have some breathing room. And there are a couple wards, a pink and a green there. Throwing out another one there. It's so dangerous for them to venture out at all to be able to start warding their flanks, but it's very important that they do find a way to do it. And they pretty much have. They have one there. Although it's about to run out. If they can refresh that, that'd be great. But warding up this area, making sure that red does not try to come back door, because with the Tryndamere and teleport, that's probably the first thing on his mind. And now, while blue team's dealing with all these waves, red's just going to get a free Baron, and there's really nothing blue team can do about that. If they leave the base, I don't know if they've been keeping track of Tryndamere's teleport cooldown, but it was not up. But say if they're afraid of it being up, that would force them to remain in the base to avoid getting backdoored. Now here comes the entirety of the fearsome red side of the map. They all have Baron buff. Tryndamere's going from the top lane. All the others are going through. Actually, True Shot Barrage completely misses. Emperor's Divide doesn't hit anything from Azir. Azir pops instantly. Tryndamer actually just walks in, presses R, and autos the Nexus to death. That's gonna finally be game.
A valiant effort by blue team to try and defend it and save it, but alas, it was not quite enough. That will be the victory, and good capitalization by the red team, being able to catch out Ezreal in that very important moment, as well as just being able to hold on for that long, because they did lose a lot of control for a while. So, alright. That looks like that was the game. Let's look at the damage dealt to champions just for fun. Victor, so much. He was a factor in every single team fight throughout the game. And even though Sivir didn't seem like she was having as huge of an impact earlier on, she's still providing her ultimate on the hunt. And also Thresh with the proactive plays. The entire laning phase, he was looking around the map, seeing where can I go, where can I get deep vision. Diana was on board with him as well, being able to steal Raptors when they knew Lutano was dead, getting as many advantages as they could. And blue team did come back into the game, but just poor catches in the later stages mean that it's an instant loss. Alright, that's going to be it.